Hello and welcome back to part 2 of the Transformers Prime episode Stronger, Faster, brought to you by a man of sophistication, intelligence, taste, mind like a planet, Stephen Fry, who couldn't be with us, so unfortunately you're gonna have to just gonna have to deal with me. Sorry, it's been a while since since I put up the first half. I'm sure the millions of you who watch my videos were waiting with bated breath. Always bait your breath when you're fishing for compliments. Actually, in the first half of this video, I talked about the nameless characters, these vehicons, and that's a term that was borrowed from Beast Machines. These vehicons sort of being like the foot soldiers from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They were robots. The turtles could blast thousands of them. And it wasn't seen as, oh, you know, that's not so bad, they're just mindless robots, hey? Kill them all, they're just robots. Now, in Transformers, this is kind of a bit of a tricky thing. Because, well, they're all robots, for one. And two, you've now got this here. This is very problematic. All these vehicons seem to have personalities of their own. You just heard this vehicon's talking. That's actually being played by Kevin Michael Richardson, who plays Bulkhead. We see here Ratchet is about to torture the Vehicon. So the whole moral sort of get out of jail free card of them being sort of mindless drones it seems to be gone, because they have personalities. They really do seem to have that going for them. I don't know if they have sparks. That tends to be the whole the argument of whether or not we should really care about these characters. And now here Prime is going to even reinforce this moral issue.
That was a Decepticon minor. Servant class, not warrior class. Oh, and let me...
And so so he's made that distinction. We don't... I guess like normal warfare where there are rules, the minor could be probably considered a non-combatant. So it's interesting. The whole idea of the mindless sweeps doesn't quite apply as perhaps as I thought it did initially.
And do you happen to know where there's a stockpile of raw energon ripe for the taking? I do.
Come on, Ratchet. Calm it down.
Calm is the last thing we need. Calm is what lost us Cybertron. The Cons have a warship. And
that's an interesting point. Something unique to this particular series is that Cybertron is for all intents and purposes, it's kind of been not destroyed per se, but it's uninhabitable.
Where it hurts.
A direct assault on the Decepticons would only provoke retaliation.
This is part of the what is called the aligned continuity. It's a continuity that takes what is considered the best parts of all the pre-existing continuities and turns them into one. And the reason the series is called Transformers Prime is because this is actually an attempt to create a prime timeline for the series. RC kind of losing her marbles there because Ratchet unwisely mentioned Cliff Jumper. Cliff Jumper is a very sneaky thing. If I ever do a commentary of the first episode, I'll talk about Cliff Jumper. Proof positive that one punch can kill. He was played by Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, and the writers were quite sneaky with it. They made it seem like he would be a main character, and then one punch from Starscream to his gut pretty much wipes him out. It's also funny how Optimus Prime finally wigs that the synthetic energon has turned Ratchet a little bit batty, quite coincidentally when he starts agreeing with Optimus Prime directly. Oh, you don't agree with me? You must be going mad. Of course, this doesn't do much to dispel that idea. That's always a classic, the pensive look and fade to commercial. Let us all give thanks to the Matrix that there was no commercial this time.
Can't get a fix on Ratchet's coordinates.
Actually, the Transformers in this episode have really been getting a lot of information from the computer. I mean, they found out when the Decepticons were mining places, they found out all this other stuff. I mean, are all these vehicons on Facebook and just posting this stuff up? I mean, that's a bit careless. Now you'll just hear here this 4-note tune that is the Decepticon theme. It's kind of nifty. I like the way it follows them around.
And the extra arms are weird, but I find myself intrigued by her.
Breakdown there has just given mention to Arachnid, who is doesn't make an appearance in this episode. She's kind of like Black Arachnia, but not Black Arachnia.
You call yourself a scientist?
And this is perhaps one of the most awesome parts of this series, is that Frank Welker finally returns as the voice of Megatron. Well, I say finally. I mean, he did the voice for a couple of the games based around the movies. But it's one of the things about the movies that I was disappointed with was that Frank Welker wasn't Megatron. It was a disappointment. I mean, if you're going to go to the effort of getting Peter Cullen to be Optimus Prime, then I think you also have to do the same for the villain. And I was very disappointed that Frank Welker didn't get that role. He did reportedly audition for it, but they decided his voice wouldn't suit live action. And I think this series proves that wrong. You can see Frank Welker discussed the way he voices Megatron in this, and as you can hear, he has brought the voice down lower. In G1, it's very high. It's very sort of cartoony, and he seems to always be yelling. He described it as being in a lower acting place, and I think it works. I think it's a kick-ass voice. And Megatron in this series is really impressive.
Imagine what it could do for our troops.
Oh, Optimus, I've been a fool.
Optimus, Ratchet signal. It's back online.
Here we go again. They've switched to Google Plus and discovered absolutely nothing, so perhaps they're going to try Twitter now just to see where the hell Ratchet is. Although actually, now that I think about it, I think it's because Megatron created that cavity and the energon's now not blocking the signal. That synthetic energon was the reason why they couldn't find Ratchet right away.
Doctor to doctor, I must say, your contribution to the Decepticon cause is very much appreciated. I'll be sure to boast of your accomplishment when you're gone, which will happen in 3, 2...
There's a fan theory that Knockout is gay, a homosexual robot. How the hell that works, I don't understand. How just heterosexual robots work, I don't understand. But I don't know. I'm going to reserve judgment on that. You know. If he's gay, I don't have a problem with that. You know, I'm not one of those bigoted Transformers fans.
What are you going to do?
That's Duran Norris as the voice of Knockout. I quite like the sort of semi-campy approach to the role. It still manages to be menacing, despite the campiness.
You idiot! Megatron will have my...
But obviously does nothing for the whole gay rumor thing, you know. I mean, if you see him on Queer Eye for the Straight Transformer, then we'll know. But until that happens, I'm still, I don't know. Either way. And here we go, a beautiful sunset. They should do Transformers postcards, and that could be one. RC just sort of, you know, reclining, and the sun in the background.
I didn't intend to hurt anyone. I just wanted so badly to
Help us. We know.
It's the obligatory sappy ending,
Loss of something
as Ratchet realizes that he's been a bit of a dick throughout the whole episode.
and a most trusted friend. You did lead us to a much-needed energon supply. And for that,
Good old Energon cubes. They've been around since almost the beginning, I think. I mean, they look slightly different in the original Transformers series, but then they later in that series took on the more cube shape.
On machines, not Autobots.
Let us take comfort in the fact that you are...
It's interesting. It's almost like melodrama, these series. They constantly use the same elements, keep coming in play. And as you see here, Knockout discovers the last little bit of Energon. Nothing has come of that yet. As I record this, the final episode of Series 1 has just aired. I don't know if they're going to bring up this synthetic Energon storyline up again, but it'll be interesting to see. Okay, that's it for me. This is a great episode of Transformers Prime. I think it really works. Not sure what I'll be commentating on next, but I hope to see you again soon.